Hi kids, it's so awesome to be with you today. Ralph says hi too. We are in for a great morning. We're talking about God's promises. You know, promises are something that we might say to another person. And when we do a promise, we're telling that person that we're going to keep it. And in the Bible, there are over 7,000 promises for us to read and to learn about. Isn't that amazing, Ralph? 7,000 promises in the Bible. And today we're going to learn a lot about some of the promises that God has for you and I, and some of the promises that he had for a man called David. Because David became the king of Israel, and God promised him that he would be a really good king and that someone from his family would always be king in Israel. So that was an amazing promise. Promises are awesome. When I was a little girl, we used to do this with our fingers. Tash, got your little finger? We used to be playing in the playground and we might have a secret with someone. So I might tell Tash a secret, and then we'd get our little fingers and we'd go like this and we'd say pinky promise. And so the idea was that you had to keep what you were telling that other person. So Tash, I was wondering, what's your most special promise that God's given you so far in the Bible?
Well, I reckon my most favourite promise that I still stand on is the promise that God gave me with my study, that what he started in me, he will finish.
Cool.
So whenever I'm scared or I feel like it's a little bit too difficult, I stand on that promise and it makes me feel his peace. And that helps me get through each bit of homework and assignment.
What God starts, he's going to finish. I'm looking forward to seeing that certificate on the wall. And that's such a neat reminder for all of us that God's with us at school, when we're playing, when we're doing sport. And he wants to be the person who cares for us and looks after us. One of my favourite promises are found in Hebrews chapter 13, verse 5. And I often think about it when I look at my hand. So it goes like this: God will never leave me, or God will never leave me. I like how Tash is doing it. She's pointing to her fingers, which is so much easier. And the cool thing is when you put your hand together, all right, the word that is really, really important is never, and that's your tallest finger. So God will never leave you. And I just love that promise. And I always say that promise when I'm feeling a wee bit scared or a bit frightened. And it reminds me that God is always with me. And I'm sure that God wants you to remember that he's always with you too.